Hi, I'm David Gale, and this is ACTRA Toronto at Home. Joanne Vannicola is an Emmy Award-winning actor and the chair of outACTRAto. They have been organizing a weekly community food table in their neighborhood with the help of their MPP and a local church. The drop-off or pick-up food table is a big success, and that's good news. Want to know how they're doing it? Let's check in with Joanne Vannicola at home. Hello, Jo.
Hello, David.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much for asking.
Oh,
I'm just we're just checking in to see how you're holding up during this very unusual experiment that we're going through here at Humanity.
you mean the pandemic?
That one. That would be the one.
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know that it's an experiment, but definitely something. I'm holding up okay. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, there have been some ups and downs for sure, and some traumas and related, people in my life, and, lots of fear, I think, around certain circles. But I think all in all, I'm doing relatively well, and trying to do everything I can to maximize time. And I'm grateful to be around and grateful to other people for doing the work that they're doing in communities. And yeah, hoping and praying that this thing, this experimental pandemic, doesn't last that long.
Yeah. I think we're all feeling the same way and I'm happy to be able, because I know you're quite a busy person, I'm happy to be able to give you at least, 10 or 15 minutes where you get to sit down and just chill with me.
Yeah, okay.
Chill and talk.
It's like we're back in our committee rooms or something.
That's right. So you're doing this community food table. What inspired that? What led to the creation of that, and how did you make it happen?
I was feeling, probably about 5 weeks ago, I started to, well, before that, I was feeling like I didn't know how to help, and I wanted to be able to help people somehow during this pandemic, during COVID. And I'm certainly not a frontline worker. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a doctor. I'm not, there's nothing of value I could do there. And
Although you've played doctors on TV.
I have, yes, but yeah, no, not even close. And, we have sets and we get fed and we get driven places. There's no danger involved. But I just wanted to contribute, and I knew I had seen other people organizing food tables and or feeding first responders and people on the front lines at hospitals and in other places. And a friend of mine who's a restaurateur, Blazing Kitchens, he had fed like 1,100 people. He just made meals for them. And I thought, okay, well, what can I do? And then I thought, okay, I can put a food table in my area, which is Toronto St. Paul's Riding in Toronto.
Could you explain what a food table is?
Food insecurity is a big deal for a lot of people. And people are hungry, and some people are living on CERB. Some people are living on disability. People aren't earning enough money. They're trying to make choices between rent and feeding their baby or buying food. And it just breaks my heart, really. Kind of makes me want to cry. And so I thought, okay, well, what can I do? And I just thought, okay, I'll start this food table where I asked members in the community through different social media and MPP, and now that our city councillor in our riding is also getting involved, to sort of spread the word in Toronto St. Paul's that there's this food table, and all you have to do is drop non-perishable goods on the table directly, nothing refrigerated or frozen, and anybody who needs or wants can literally take from the table, receive from the table, no questions asked. So about 2 weeks ago was the first one. I think it was on May 16th. And there were so many donations of food, people stopping by and dropping boxes and bags. And I mean, it was so full, we had to get a second table from the MPP's office. And then I was putting extra food under the tables and boxes. And
how are you keeping safe during all this? How were people keeping safe?
So I had gloves and a mask, and I was changing things out often. I would often change my gloves over and wipe down my hands and anything else that I thought needed to be wiped down. I ask anybody who volunteers to wear a mask or glasses, and to bring sanitizers for themselves so they can stay clean. And I ask people who donate to donate directly onto the table so that we're not all going through a bunch of plastic bags and debris isn't flying everywhere. So far it's kind of working out. And, there've been beautiful moments of people receiving and the sort of joy over being able to take, just to take, no questions asked. There was a woman with a stroller who loaded up with the baby food, and this young woman with a backpack who really needed some cat food, and there was some cat food. And mostly the elderly people that came from the building beside where the table was set up were coming with their walkers and their canes and filling up bags or pockets or whatever it was. And it just felt like, oh. Yeah.
Wow, how special.
I'm glad we did it.
And all day long? This lasted all day?
So the first one went from 11 until 5, and the second one went from 11 till 5. This one will probably go from 11:30 to, maybe 4. It depends on how long and how hot and what the elements are at the end of the day. There's no real rules. It's just the idea is that everybody should feel comfortable and safe. And the other thing I forgot to mention is I contacted a local church to see if they would donate their parking lot space. It's an LGBTQ positive church because that mattered to me. So it was St. Matthew's, and they gave us some space in their parking lot right off the street of St. Clair. So we were able, to set up without any issues, right? So that helped a lot. And then
That's
putting
fantastic.
up. Yeah, and so it went out in the newsletter from the MPP's office, and I put some.
You mentioned who the MPP is?
My MPP is Jill Andrews, and then Josh Matlow came around from the city council last week, and he took a pic and he let his people know through his social media. So we'll see how it goes. I can't see myself running it for a long time. I'm hoping that other volunteers will want to step up and take over the organizing. Does require a little bit of effort, and I feel like if more community members could get involved, then it's a really great thing to have started, and I'm hoping that others step up and take over. It's doable. Anybody can do it, which is the thing, right? You just have to get some help from your local officials and find a space, get a table, and spread the word.
And how long did that take you to set it up for the first one? Because I imagine the second one was easier because you already had things in place.
The first one took about 2 weeks in terms of finding a location and creating, just some shout outs and finding volunteers. And you don't need a lot of volunteers, but you do need people to make sure that people aren't dumping and that people are being respectful and, just to oversee, but not to get in anyone's face or space. I mean, it's nobody's business how much someone takes, how little or how much, and that's not the point. The point is to let people do what they need to do without any questions asked. And I think that that's a great gift for some people because it's hard to take sometimes when you don't have, and there's a stigma associated with that. And I'm trying to avoid all that. It's just drop what you can and take what you need, and that's it.
Fantastic. Drop what you can and take what you need. And you were saying that some of the elderly people from your neighborhood came with walkers and bags, and they took. And you said there was a young mom who came for the baby stuff, and somebody who needed cat food. Were there any other stories that you remember of people, without mentioning any names, of course, but you remember any other specifics about people who were using it?
I mean, honestly, there were so many different random crossings. There's, somebody who was homeless came by and grabbed something off the table, ripped it open, and started eating. And it was just kind of like, and then carried on. I'm like, okay, whatever, right on. Somebody came by on a bicycle who was having a hard time and, had a number of things attached to the bicycle and was really happy because there was a whole bag of toiletries and he was able to take that whole bag of toiletries, which is like, right on, take it, bro, right? And then also a bag of, food as well, and then off he went. And then some guy came around and he just put some things in his pockets and then he went away. And then he came back about a half hour later, put a couple more things in his pockets, and then he went away. And it was just random stuff like that was happening, but some really, really sweet people as well. And some, just really, really nice people. And that's all it was. It was a feel good thing, right? Nobody, That's all it was.
You know, and the fact that it's no questions asked, the fact that people just come and like people are not asking the people who are dropping the stuff off any issues about anything. And why would they ask anybody who's taking it as well? So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's a wonderful thing. And so
Yeah.
if somebody, now you were saying that this is because we are LGBTQ plus focused, and this particular church was gay positive.
Yeah.
And that's and right, and they so responded.
Yeah,
So
I think they have a lesbian reverend.
Lesbian
I don't
reverend.
know her. I don't go to church. I'm not
Right.
religious. So, but I was like, oh, great.
So for somebody who maybe doesn't have organizing skills the way you do, and they want to do something like this, perhaps approaching their MPP right to begin with, or their city councilor right to begin with, and saying, I have this idea. I saw it, you know, on Instagram. I saw it on ACTRA Toronto's performers online site. Can we do this together?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other issue is that it doesn't necessarily have to be your local MPP or your city councilor. You can also contact a community center or a local organization. Any place where there's enough space, public space, that they can offer space for you to put your table,
Right.
find a folding table, ask help to get a folding table, and can it be stored in that space? And then put the word out through social media, then contact your MPP, contact your city councilor, because they want to help, because this is the kind of thing that people feel good about, right? It's a simple action, but it's a simple action that's really doable and that people can get behind, because it's all non-perishable goods. So there's nothing that's, you know, going to harm anyone. Everybody's acting with safety and precaution, and people who are coming and going seem to have a really good, easy flow with that as well. And that's all you got to do. Make some phone calls, talk to city officials, organizations, community centers, and start spreading the word through those venues, and as well through social media, and see what happens, like in newsletters and in local arenas in your riding.
And what happened? Did you have any left over at the end of the day?
Yeah, we did. And there was a volunteer who took some of the leftovers in her vehicle and then brought it back the next Saturday for the next food table. We are
Perfect.
also going to be able to give it potentially to the elderly building next to us. And so if there's any leftovers this week, we'll probably call the super of that building and say, hey, we've got this food, and donate to the building so that it can be distributed amongst any of the elderly people who would like it.
That's fantastic. One last thing. How are people assured that they're going to be safe, their health is going to be safe when they approach the table?
I think people have to be responsible for themselves. I think that's the thing. It's like when you're going shopping or you're going out into the world, we must be responsible for ourselves. We must wear a mask. You put some glasses on, put some gloves on, and just be mindful. Like if somebody's in front of you, wait. You know, keep your social distance. Keep 6 feet apart, and wait for them to finish and walk away, and then move in. And there hasn't been any problems. Everybody's been really, really good about that.
Well, that's fantastic. Really, I applaud you for your initiative and for creating this scenario where people can, no questions asked, get something that they need at this challenging time. So thank you for and keep on doing it. And I hope that you find people who will take over for you. And that other people
I won't be able to personally do it a lot longer, but hopefully now that it's already functioning, some other people will be able to come in and maybe try to keep it going, right? So.
Yeah, and I'm certain that you will, through this and through your Instagram posts, have inspired people to do it as well. So it's maybe the gift that'll keep on giving.
Maybe. Who knows?
That's good news. That's good news.
Hey.
Thank you very much for your time,
you,
Jo, and keep doing what you do.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
Take care.
If you know of a member who is going out of their way to help out, let us know. We may be able to share their stories right here on ACTRA Toronto at Home. Stay safe.